Thank you, Sarah. I will be very appreciative of your help. Honestly, it's really inspiring to hear all the different ways people are thinking about it and using it. And even in the Canva demo, some of the magic came through as well, which is just amazing to see. But my goal in the next 10 minutes is just try to make it as accessible and approachable as I possibly can for all of you. Because I know AI can feel very big and complicated and stressful to get started with, but the key takeaways for today are just try, just see what happens, push the limits, ask it different questions, ask them different ways, and see the magic that ChatGPT can bring into your life. So to get things started, I'm just going to do a quick warm up just to show you. So I'm in voice mode now. I am doing a demo at Ladies Who Launch, but just to prepare me, can you give me a quick summary of the organization and the impact it's had in the UK?
Ladies Who Launch is a global community focused on empowering women and non-binary entrepreneurs. They provide education, funding opportunities, and host events to help businesses grow. In the
Okay,
UK,
actually, I'm going to stop you right there. Could you do it, but make it more of a rhyme for me, please?
Sure, I can give that a shot. So, Ladies Who Launch helps dreams take flight, empowering entrepreneurs with all their might. In the UK, they've sparked growth and cheer, helping businesses thrive year after year.
Okay, and this time, do it very quickly in Italian, please.
Certo, allora Ladies Who Launch aiuta i sogni a decollare, con il loro supporto è più facile imprendere, in UK hanno portato crescita e
Okay, great.
ispirazione.
I don't actually speak Italian, but for those who do, I hope it sounded okay to you. Excellent. So just, that's more of an icebreaker, but just to show you the amazing power of this technology and how it can help. Well, as was just mentioned by Louisa, you're changing your kid's nappy, whatever it may be, talk to the machine. You don't even need your hands for it anymore. Okay, so getting back to it. This example actually lines very nicely with what Erica showed earlier in Canva. So I am going to be simulating being the owner of a clothing boutique in London called Brick Lane Boutique. And I'm going to be leaning on ChatGPT for some support with content marketing. So I know that both examples have sort of been very content marketing focused. Obviously, this is just one tiny sliver of what can be done. But again, the goal is to inspire you and get your imagination going. So to start, I've taken an export of my Google reviews for Brick Lane Boutique, and I'm going to take action on them, both on the positive ones and the negative ones. So to begin, I'm going to add my, I am having the hardest time getting this thing onto my thing. I'm going to drag the CSV. Nope, not going to drag the CSV. One moment.
So while Orian's doing a drag, this is where I said I would help her out. There's a couple of things as she's pulling this in to know. We just released something called Memory a few weeks ago. So if you've been experiencing it, Memory starts to actually really understand and memorize who you are. So even as you're feeding it things about your business, you won't have to refeed that thing about your business. You can always change your privacy setting if that gives you the heebie-jeebies. But generally speaking, I love it because I love that I don't have to keep telling it the same thing about myself.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. So I am going to tell ChatGPT what it is. I'm going to tell it what information I want it to use. I'm going to tell it what output I'd like at the end and for what purpose. So here I'm saying, okay, you are a marketing copywriter for a trendy London clothing boutique. I've uploaded a CSV with 30 real customer comments. Read the file, summarize the overall sentiment, identify the 5 quotes that would make the strongest website testimonials, return them verbatim, and cite the customer ID column. Okay, so you can imagine how we'll get through this flow, but think about what Erica showed you earlier in Canva and how, translating something like this into your brand voice and into beautiful visuals and stuff could become such a lower barrier experience. Has anyone played around at all with kind of data processing like this in ChatGPT? Okay, cool. So a few of you have. Great.
Okay, you're getting a lot of nods in this room and hands up. This is great.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got top 5 customer testimonials. At the moment, they're just verbatim. So I want to rewrite them a little bit so that they're a bit more on brand for my kind of marketing materials in my website. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to rewrite each of the 5 quotes into high impact testimonials. It's actually happening too quickly for me to show you the code on the back end. I'll do that in a moment, but I think it's also really interesting to see how the machine thinks through it. Okay, so here we can see it's translated, found a gem of a dress, got so many compliments, I lost count. It changed the testimonial just slightly to that dress, total gem, compliments came nonstop. Now, assuming that was based more on like past content it's been fed and produced, so it understood what was going to be more in line with my requirements. Okay, taking it to the next step. We're now going to work, we're going to work towards a social media content creation. So using those testimonials, let's create 3 Instagram captions. So it's going to be working. Oh, it's happened too fast again for me to even show you, which is ultimately a good thing. But when it takes a little bit longer to think, I'll be able to.
And maybe just on the, if you said create 3 LinkedIn testimonials or Facebook testimonials, it knows enough about where you're trying to put it that it will change the tone. You'll see it in LinkedIn do this much more professional tone. You can say with emojis, without emojis. Like I do this a lot for Slack from a professional perspective. And if I'm in a good mood CFO, lots of emojis. When I'm like whipping people, I'm like, take out all the emojis. Do not make this nice. Tell people there's a problem.
Yes, absolutely. And I think then this is something I'll touch on at the very end, but I think one thing to keep in mind, and I think this is what puts a lot of people off of using ChatGPT in this way, is you try it once and it just doesn't give you what you were after. Like either it's way off or it's just like off enough that it hasn't really saved you very much time. One thing I really urge you to do is like what we kind of call prompt engineering, which again sounds very serious and scary, but it's really just about trying to ask the question a few different ways. And in fact, you can just ask ChatGPT to help you write the prompt. So you just say, I'm a small business owner. I am trying to get ChatGPT to help me with this. Here's what I want to do. Can you help me write the prompt? And which model do you recommend, for example? And it will guide you. So again, and then if you're not getting what you need, okay, so I asked it to create a visual I could use on Instagram using those testimonials. Now, you guys can see what's being produced here maybe isn't the most exciting visual, and I'm not that happy with it, and I'm not going to put this on my Instagram feed. So I'm going to refine the prompt as I was just kind of teasing out. I highly recommend you do. And again, this isn't just for the visual examples. This is something you should do anytime it doesn't give you what you want. Telling it to be more concise or be more factual or any of these things can help get you closer to what you're after. Okay, so I'm going to ask it to adjust the previous graphic using a vertical format. I want to feature a photorealistic image. Like I want it to look like an Instagram post to some degree, but still include the testimonial. Now, creating images is a bit harder for the machine. It's still very effective, but these tend to take another, an extra minute or so while it thinks. Who has created an image with ChatGPT? ImageGen went quite viral. So yeah, okay.
Oh, yes, everyone, including 2% of the internet population of India, by the way, created an image. And it's kind of fun if this is going to create an image from scratch because she's given it enough kind of substance, but you can also upload your own photograph and turn it into maybe a style, like I am the queen of the superhero style, like all the women around me always turn into magical superheroes with, like their initials on their front chest. But it's a really nice way to blend photography with then an overlay that you want. So if you haven't done that, it's just a fun thing to do even with your family. And by the way, everything we're showing here is free. You could just get going. We start to charge $20 a month if you're starting to use a lot of capacity, but most of what's happening here, you could use for free every single day. Here comes our image. So exciting.
Okay.
I love this bit. I'm literally on the edge of my seat when it starts happening.
Okay, we're in the final 2 minutes here. So I'm just going to try to wrap things up quite quickly. First of all, you can see the images being produced. This is something I'd feel more comfortable using on my Instagram feed for Brick Lane, so we can go from there. The flip side of this example would have been thinking more about customer care. So taking a look at actually the negative reviews, getting help drafting your responses to those, potentially writing up like an email that you could send that would give them a discount, whatever it may be to kind of retain those customers and bring back in that loyalty. So again, we're a bit tight on time. As you can see, and as you probably already know from your experience, the possibilities are really endless. I could have gone on for hours. We could have done a whole hackathon around this, but My two key takeaways I'll leave you with are to just try things and then try again and refine and because I think that we are all underutilizing OpenAI and ChatGPT, even myself and Sarah, who work there every day. Like there is the possibilities are just so far out of anything we can conceptualize that it takes us pushing it to get there. And the second thing is just around prompts. So I asked it to give me a memorable heuristic to help you all remember how to write a good prompt leaving here. And it came up with give, Give. Give your prompt the power it deserves. It kind of stayed on brand. It knew I was at this Ladies Who Launch event. It like went with slightly feminine theme, which I love. So it's the goal, state what you want clearly, the inputs, give the helpful context or details. This would also include maybe what it is, like a content manager. Give it the voice, the style, or the vibe, and then give it edits and refine based on your results. So if you can take that one away, give your prompts the power they deserve. And I really hope that you'll start to experience this magic and take it one step further. Whatever you're doing with it today, there's so much more you can be doing. So hope this was valuable.
Thank you, Orion.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.